Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, this is not an Islamic speech, and I want to excuse myself for the mask in this time of COVID, but I'm sure everybody's aware of our condition concerning that. And I want to start off by saying that I'm not a heavy user of the internet nor of social media at all. But in this time, since I have such a large family, then I felt it necessary to say something and perhaps record it. And maybe somebody will be able to hear it. Maybe somebody will listen to it and in time examine or comment about it. I want to start off by saying that in this time of all of these heightened emergencies and community situations around the globe and here in America, in our country, it's important for us to look at things in a number of different ways and not just one way. And this is a problem that we have. We allow people to distract us. We allow people to guide us in a way that they seem to think is best for us, in a way that they want to guide us. They want to tell us how to feel about dying. They want to tell us how to feel about the fear that we live in. They want to tell us how to react to the fear that we live in. They want to tell us about how to react to being killed. This is so ridiculous that really it's not even worth a lot of conversation, but I just have to say it out loud so that people can hear how ridiculous it sounds. We look at Floyd, which is our most current event, and we say that he died in a good way because he didn't fight for his life. And I'm trying to make this speech as unemotional as I possibly can, meaning that I don't want to be overexcited and sound that I'm angry, because perhaps then somebody won't be able to listen to me. And I don't want to cry because then perhaps I won't be able to get the words out of my mouth. But most people, politicians especially, they're happy right now because they have something to talk about, in the sense that Floyd died without fighting for himself and without anybody fighting for him. If he would have struggled for his life like any other person would have done and should have done, then he would have died in a bad way. Think about it. Myself included, my empathy forces me to think about myself laying on the ground and somebody having their foot on my neck. As long as I be still, then I'll die with people believing that I was such a good person. But if I try to get up off the ground and fight for my life that God gave me, and nobody has the right to take it away from me, then I die as a bad person, irregardless of my social status, irregardless of my economic status, but just the fact that I'm black and I'm on the ground and he's white and he's on top of me and he's a police officer. So now we come to the point to where everybody's on the news and everybody's on the media, and what's happening now is all the politicians are first of all opening their conversation apologizing for what's going on right now. They're saying, I'm sorry, and I condemn what's happening right now, and they're not understanding that they're spending 15 minutes apologizing and 2 minutes addressing the subject at hand. Every news journalists right now is leading you in the direction of apologizing, right, for what's happening right now, condemning what's happening right now, instead of them apologizing to you for what's happening right now. Because this is what should be happening. What should be happening is every single police chief and every single police officer, they should be where I am right now. They should be apologizing to us. We shouldn't be apologizing to them. We're the ones that didn't do anything wrong. We're the ones that are only reacting to what happened. If you don't want the response, then the answer to any intelligent person is stop what created that response. When you take a brief look at history, we have to understand that the only thing that stopped the sale of human beings in the open market was the Civil War. What did it take for this to stop? The Civil War. How many people died in the Civil War? It only stopped when people were willing to give up their comfort, their money, their lives. They put everything on the line to change the condition of what was happening. And here now today, we're so civilized that we think that the same human beings will change their actions without sacrificing anything. Not a car, not a store, not a piece of glass. Nothing will be sacrificed for the sake of change. If we allow this to continue, and I have not all the answers as to which way to go or what to happen, we only have to look at history. I don't have to give you the answer. If we allow this to continue, then just like from Rodney King until today, in 30 years from now, we'll be in the exact same position. But right now, today, I have no apology for anything that takes place. What I have is the desire for somebody to apologize to me. Apologize to me because I have fear that any one of my sons, while they're driving down the street going to school or going to the ball game, they'll be subject to some person who's supposed to be protecting them, disrespecting them, possibly hurting them, possibly killing them. I want somebody to apologize to me. I don't want to apologize to anybody, and I'm not going to apologize to anybody. So we need to understand that we have to, first of all, we have to take ourselves out of this apologetic mentality. They're on the news talking about all of these things put a tarnish on the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. We're missing the mark, people. We're missing the mark by a long shot. We understand that we all love Dr. Martin Luther King and the things that he aspired to do and inspired other people to do. We all love him for that. But understand that he gave us the greatest sacrifice that another human being could give. And that is, he gave his life for this cause. He didn't make a speech and go home to his family after he made the speech. He continued to make the speech with the understanding that he was going to give his life for this cause. So the same people that you're talking to, the same people that are telling you how to feel and how to act, right? They blew his head off. They blew his head off. You're missing the mark. He gave up his life for this. So now, what are you willing to give up? What are we all willing to give up? This is the question. What are we willing to sacrifice? We owe nobody an apology. They owe us an apology. And until we have this type of mentality where we believe that we're worth more than that, because you just have to ask yourself a few short questions. If a white person was to be killed in the middle of the street like that, what do you think other white people would do? Do you think they would go out in front of City Hall and hold up a sign? Or do you think maybe they would go to City Hall with their assault rifles brandished out in the open, and at that point maybe use them? What do you think they would do? Or do they have different type of rights than we have? Of course they have different type of rights than we have. Is their life more valuable than our life? Of course their life is more valuable than our life in this society that we live in. But again, until we are willing to be unapologetic, until we are willing to really believe that our life and the lives of our family and our neighbors are worth something to us, are worth more than a fire, are worth more than a piece of broken glass, where we have to apologize for somebody dying and us being emotional about somebody dying, not once, but over and over and over and over and over and over again, and nothing being done about it. So with that, I say that the answer to all of this is really simple. So I take back my earlier statement that I don't have an answer. Yes, I do have an answer. The answer is, if they were to apologize for what happened to Floyd and all the others and say that it was 100% wrong, and if they were to follow up that by saying that any person that kills another person will face the same justice system as a person that robs the bank, the laws will be applied equally to that person. From right now, today, from right now, everything will stop. Everybody will go home. Everybody will help clean up the streets. Everybody will help put out the fires. There'll be no more fires. There'll be no more protests. If they say, we apologize for what happened to Floyd and every other person that has died subject to police brutality or any injustice, and it will never happen again. And if it does happen again, that person will face an equal justice system and be convicted as the other person that took a life, then this will all end. And with that, all we can do is pray that one day we'll reach that point where all of the politicians and all of the people, white, black, brown, will have the mentality and the belief system that life is a right that we have here, equality is a right that we have here. It's a part of American creed, it's a part of our Constitution, and we will live and we will die by it. When we reach that point, and we pray that we reach that point, then we'll understand that this will never happen again.